Okay, so hello to everyone out there in YouTube land. It's official. I've decided I am officially going to make a boards prep video series. It's going to cover different topics. This is the, I guess, third or fourth video that I've made so far. And today we're going to talk about brainstem lesions. So I know this can be a complicated thing. Everyone tries to figure out where it is, looking at their corticospinal. You try to look at the cranial nerves, and it just becomes a big jumbled up mess. So to start off, we're just going to go through the cranial nerves and what you're going to see if one's damaged. So up here we have our list of the big ones you need to focus on. So if you see three, you're going to see ptosis, you're going to see pupil enlargement. The eye is going to look down and out. Should have written that down. Didn't, but that's what you're going to see. 4, if it gets damaged, you see them do the head tilt. Because remember, 4 is your superior oblique muscle. 5 is your trigeminal, so you're going to see both sensory and muscle losses in the face. Usually it's not mentioned as much in questions. Usually they go for the eyes. 6, loss of lateral gaze. 7 is your whole face. Remember Bell's palsy, the entire face is affected, versus if you only see the top part of the face affected or only half the face, you're looking at more of a lesion in the brain. 8 is hearing. 9 and 10 control the palate, and this is actually really important because if you look over at our drawing, what you can see is here, the palate's weak on that side, but when it falls down, it makes the uvula go the opposite way of the weak palate. And here, for example, if the other side, this side of the palate's weak, the uvula deviates to the opposite side. So what ends up happening is the uvula actually is lying to you. The way it's pointing is opposite the side that's affected. And if you want, I can show you with this marker. So the marker's dangling. If my uvula, for example, let's say this side gets weak, it dips down, and look, the marker's pointing the opposite way. If I do it the other way, the uvula, this side gets weak, marker points the opposite way. So if you ever forget, put a marker in your finger, just make one side go down and look, and you'll see the marker points the opposite way. Nice little trick. So then 12. 12 is different too. 12 is the tongue, and the tongue never lies. Even though our tongues lie all the time, just remember, it doesn't lie in this case. The way the tongue points is the way the lesion goes. And I can once again show you with the marker. So if we look with the marker, the way our tongue muscles work is this muscle's trying to push it this way, this muscle's trying to push it this way, and it ends up with it midline. If this muscle on this side gets weak, this muscle takes over and pushes it to the weak side. Same thing with the opposite. If this side gets weak, this side can take over and push it towards the weak side. So that's our trick there. So now our question is, where are these lesions? This part is really easy. So the first thing you need to remember is your pon-pons. Remember, pon sounds like pom-pom. And what do you hear cheerleaders go when they cheer? They go 5, 6, 7, 8. DIT used this. I liked this part of the mnemonic. From here on, this is how I do it. So your palms has 5, 6, 7, 8. You'll have 4 cranial nerves above and 4 cranial nerves below. In your forebrain, you have cranial nerve 1 and 2, which makes sense that at the front of your brain is where your sense of smell and your eyes are, considering that's where they are in your head. Your midbrain is then 3 and 4. Your medulla is 9, 10, and 12. Don't let 11 fool you. Remember, it's spinal accessory. So it's going to come from the spinal cord through foramen magnum and then back down through the jugular foramen with 9 and 10. So these are the nerves. These are where they are. Here's the easy part from there. If it divides into 12, it's in the middle. So we're going to ignore 1 and 2 for this because 1 and 2 are up in the front of the brain. They're in the forebrain. They're not in the brainstem, which is the lesions we're talking about. So if we look in the midbrain, 3 and 4. Both of them divide into 12. So both of them are in the middle of the midbrain. In the pons, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of those, only 6 divides into 12. So it's in the middle. Everything else is lateral. medulla, 9, 10, and 12. 12 can divide into 12, so it's in the middle. So now we're going to see how you can do a question 10 times faster just knowing these facts. Okay, so this is our question we're given, and I just wrote the main things of it. So a patient comes in with sudden left-sided weakness. They have weakness of the left upper and lower limbs, tongue deviation to the right, loss of vibration and proprioception on the left. And the question is, where is the lesion? So this seems like a lot. You're sitting there trying to draw out your corticospinal pathway and all of this. But here's what you need to look at. You have a cranial nerve in here. You have the tongue. That's a cranial nerve. That tells you where the lesion is. Don't look at anything else. So tongue. Alrighty, let's do our thing. 5, 6, 7, 8 is pons. Okay, we know tongue is 12. Where's 12? It's below the pons, so it's in the medulla. Alright, so we've got that. It's in the medulla. What cranial nerve is the tongue? The tongue is 12. Can 12 divide into 12? Absolutely. So 12 is medial. So we know it's the medial medulla. Now we just need the side. Tongue deviation. The tongue never lies. So the tongue is going to point to the side of the lesion. So the answer is right medial medulla. You didn't have to draw a pathway. You didn't have to do anything. You just had your tongue and it took you right to the answer. So let's do another one. Alright, so here's our next one. Patient comes in with sudden right-sided weakness. They have weakness of the right face, upper and lower limbs, and the left eye is turned down and out, and the pupils dilated. Once again, don't try to go for your whole body. Look for your cranial nerve. Our cranial nerves are eye. It's the left eye, it's turned down and out, and the pupils dilated. Remember, pupil dilation is your oculomotor nerve. Also, turning out and down would happen if you lost your oculomotor nerve, since it does all of the muscles except for lateral rectus and superior oblique. So we know it's cranial nerve 3. And what's our thing? Our pons is 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's above it. So it's in the midbrain. So we know our lesion is in the midbrain. Okay, so if it's in the midbrain, the next thing we need to ask ourselves is, can 3 divide into 12? Yes, it can. In the medial midbrain. And what's the fun thing about cranial nerves? For the most part, they occur on the side the lesion is. It's the left eye, left medial midbrain. Shall we do another? Alright, so this next one lets us work on our uvula. So, we have a patient come in with vertigo, nystagmus, and vomiting. They have left-sided limb ataxia, left-sided loss of pain and temperature of their face, a left-sided Homer syndrome, right loss of pain and temperature of the arm and leg, and their palate is pulling up on the right. So their palate is pulling up on the right. This means the right side's working because the palate can pull up. Which side's dropping down? Our left side. So our left side's the weak side. Our left side is the side of the lesion. So it's on the left. And it's our palate. Where's our palate? Palate's 9 and 10. So remember our pons. 5, 6, 7, 8. It's bigger than 8. So where's the lesion? It's in the medulla. So we know it's the left medulla so far. So now the question is, do 9 and 10 divide into 12? They don't. So it's lateral. So this lesion is in the left lateral medulla. I'm not going to bug you with any more. If you would like more problems, I can always do more. But this is basically how you do brainstem lesions. Find the cranial nerve in the stem of your question. Once you find your palate or your tongue or your eye that's acting weird, go based on your pon mnemonic for where it is. Once you know where it is, if it goes into 12, it's in the middle. Otherwise, it's lateral. And you'll get your lesion right every time. And this makes it much quicker so you can get to some of your more difficult questions you need to spend more time on. I hope this has helped. And hopefully from now on, I'm going to try to make a video maybe twice a month, at least once a month. So here's to seeing another video soon.